Hallelujah. Verse 7. And when they have finished their testimony of these 42 months, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against these saints, and shall overcome these saints, and kill these saints. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city. It does not say the great city in the Syriac, and it does not say this, that in the Aramaic. And we're going to show that next week. Which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, which also our sovereign was crucified. Now this is the question. Was the Mashiyach killed in Sodom? Okay,
You said, was he killed in Sodom?
Yeah.
No.
What about Egypt?
No.
But it's talking about now where also our sovereign was crucified. So how do we put that together? It says, these saints now, their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our sovereign was crucified.
I never saw that. This is my mom.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put into graves. But watch what happens. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, which is these witnesses now that prophesied. Because now this disagreeable being who was bound in the bottomless pit now ascends out of this bottomless pit, kills these witnesses now, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, over these messengers that have died, and make merry, and shall send gifts to one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelled on the earth. But watch what happens. And after 3 days and a half, the Ruach of life from Elohim entered into them. Their bodies were not buried. It was there 3.5 days now. And after 3 days and a half, the Ruach of life from Elohim entered unto them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Because remember now, the merchants now, they said, wow, okay, then these messengers here now have died. And they're sending gifts to everybody, they're dead. But now they see the Ruach of the Father now entered into their bodies, and they stand back up on their feet again. We're gonna break that down next week, all right? We're gonna break it down next week.
We can just say that for 2 hours.
Yeah, I can see that.
And they heard, and we have to identify who's the they. And they heard a great voice from Shamayim saying unto them, these witnesses now, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. And their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant was affrighted and gave esteem to the Father of Elohim. This is my thing here. You will share this. I do believe, because Scripture says it, that there is places of refuge in Israel. It is there. This is my question. Are those places safe now?
No.
This is what we're going through. Because the Scripture is sharing with us now that 42 months now has to begin and end. And we have to talk about these witnesses here. But it's talking about now a 10th part of a city, and whether that city is Israel or Babylon, America. I don't believe it's Babylon. I believe that it's actually Jerusalem. A 10th part of Jerusalem now is going to actually now be destroyed. If a 10th part of Jerusalem is going to be destroyed, the question then becomes, this is a question, are those places in Jerusalem now, those safe havens, are they safe now? Because with destruction, this earthquake now comes tsunamis. That whole land has to be renovated. It's polluted. As long as the original inhabitants are not there, that land is going to be left destitute. When we went to Israel, it was barren. There's nothing there but sand. And rocks. That's all that's there. But Scripture tells us now when Moses sent the 7 spies out there to spy out the land, it was a land of plenteous, all greenery. There's nothing in Israel now but rocks. That's all that's there. These witnesses we're going to have to talk about. All right, for now. The Mashiyach was born, he was killed outside of Jerusalem, not inside Jerusalem. And we'll leave it there. All right? And we'll close the class because we'll be here all night. But I just want to share something with you. Remember, there are 7 trumpets, 7 seals, and 7 vials. All right? And the only one that was found worthy, okay, this now was the Mashiyach. And Ezra, Zechariah, Isaiah are all sharing the same vision that's going to happen here in these last days here. And I truly believe that we are in those days here. And things are really heating up. I'm getting calls from my email. She's getting mails from the government that she said, listen, baby, you know what? I don't know what's going on. Next week or the following week, that's it. No more EBT cards. That's it. She already got her letter in the mail. A lot of the government funding programs done. So there's a lot that's going on. Unemployment, people that's on disability, all those things are about to be cut. And once people start to go hungry, you can't pay your bills. I got a letter in the mail today. If I'm suffering from any type of mortgage payments, I'm behind anything like that because of the government shutdown, fill out these applications and things like that, So these letters are going out. They're going out, Mr. Khan. I just pray that everybody here in the congregation of Yashra'al is paying very close attention to what's going on. This speech that's supposed to be happening on Saturday, because now they say that Donald Trump might have the power to actually declare a state of emergency to actually get this money. Pence, it was reported, just to share this now, they said that when Nancy Pelosi and Pence, was it Michael Pelosi and Pence? No, it was actually Nancy Pelosi when she wanted to take that military plane and see the soldiers, and they was leaving behind Donald Trump and Pence. They were even talking about assassination, and there's a lot that's going on here. To actually try to kill the president and the vice president, to try to get Democrats back into office, and they're sharing here also. The reason why they don't want Mexicans and Latinos here is because the Republican Party is changing drastically. Before, the Republicans consisted of old, rich, white men. All right? And things are changing now. And so now what the Democrats are doing, because you even see now that the faces of the Democrats now are also changing. You have young people down there, like 24, 25 years old, sitting up in Congress now, who are now Democrats. Mm-hmm. And they're a mixed multitude of ethnic backgrounds. It's changing. And so now if they allow Mexicans to come in, so now the Republicans now have to fight for the black vote. I'm just using those terms. The black votes, the Latino votes, and now the Mexicans. That's going to change how America looks. And before that happens, Donald Trump, he even said it already. He said that if he gets impeached, he will bankrupt America. And we already trillions of dollars in debt already. So there's something even more behind, which is government shutdown. We don't have the money. They print the money and there's no gold to back the money. It is so interesting that even China gave America, a failing grade in credit. America turned around and gave themselves an A credit right on their own. I can't do that. Nobody wants to trade with America anymore. America, Donald Trump lifted, and they said they just found this out, that Donald Trump lifted some of the embargo against the Russians. Hold on tight. You reading what's going on here? we talk about the seditions, men invading one another's houses with swords and guns and things. Mishpachar, I pray that while there's time, speak with your family. I've been doing it, but it's not getting anywhere, just to let you know. So, but in the meantime, you know what, Mishpachar, let's really try to make sure that we understand exactly what's happening here, because when things really hit the fan, only Noah, Daniel, and Ezekiel, it made mention of those three. Was it those three there? Those are the only three that were able to save themselves. They were not able to save mother, brother, sister, daughter. They were not able to save those people. So we're going to talk about Revelation, the 11th chapter. We're going to go into the seals, because I heard somebody last week through when Maury was teaching, somebody asked about the 5th seal, or the 5th trumpet. Somebody had asked about, but we only on the 2nd one. So we're going to slow this down to here a little bit, and that's a nice class, because I have a lot of information here, and I want to share it. It's just that it's about to heat up, and we have to find out who these witnesses are. And anybody have any questions?
I had one, but I lost it.
Yeah, get it back.
What about pins? You said you had, there was something on pins.
Yeah,
Hold on 1 second, Mark.
again, these are just claims. I can't say that they're true, because there's a lot of fake news that's going out there too.